English, Standard 12, Unit 2, Prose, A Nice Cup of Tea, written by George Orwell. Tea is one of the most widely consumed drink around the world, and there are many who can't even imagine starting the day without a nice cup of tea. Here are a few varieties of tea. Herbal tea, iced tea, green tea, black tea, tea with milk, herbal tea, iced tea, green tea, black tea, and tea with milk. There are varieties of tea. How many of these have you tasted? Do you know how the tea powder is obtained from the plants? You would have seen lovely packets of tea powder just arranged on the shelves in supermarkets and shops. But do you know how this tea powder is obtained from the plants? In the hilly regions of Assam, Western Ghats, Nilgiris, Ercard, and so on, the tender tea leaves are plucked in the plantation. The collected leaves are heaped and dried under a shadow. The dried leaves are roasted and crushed in the machines. The machines pack the tea powder in prescribed quantities. These are the procedure, and we find that how tea powder is obtained. Making a proper cup of tea is not such a hard task unless you know the procedure of making it correctly. In different cultures, there are very specific methods to make a cup of tea. Depending on where you live and what traditions and practices you follow, your cup of tea may vary. So depending upon your traditions, cultures, and the practices that you follow, your cup of tea may vary greatly from that of your friends, neighbors, and relatives. But if you are searching for the way to a divine cup of steaming tea, you should take the time to do it right. Today, we are going to discuss one of the earliest methods of preparing a nice cup of tea, an essay written by English author Eric Arthur Blair, better known by his pen name George Orwell. Eric Arthur Blair. Eric Arthur Blair. Original name. George Orwell. Pen name. He writes in his pen name George Orwell. He was an English novelist, essayist, journalist, and critic whose work is marked by clear prose awareness of social inequity, opposition to totalitarianism, and also the discanted support of democratic socialism. All his writings just reveal a support of democratic socialism. In 2008, the Times marked him second on a list of the 50 greatest British writers since 1945. In 2008, the Times ranked him second on a list of the 50 greatest British writers since 1945. This essay, A Nice Cup of Tea, was first published in the London Evening Standard on January 12, 1946. It is a discussion of the craft of making a cup of tea. It is a short, humorous essay. If you look up tea in the first cookery book that comes to hand you, you will probably find that it is unmentioned, or at most you'll find a few lines of sketchy instructions which give so ruling on several of the most important points. This is curious. Curious means interesting. Curious, interesting. So this is interesting, or this is curious. Not only because tea is one of the mainstays of civilization in this country, as well as in Europe, Australia and New Zealand, but because the best manner of making it is the subject of violent disputes. He says that the manner of making tea is the subject of violent disputes. And in other words, in his next paragraph, he expresses his feelings and he just says and he gives points how to prepare tea. When I look through my own recipe for the perfect cup of tea, I find no fewer than 11 outstanding points. He stresses the words, I find no fewer than 11 outstanding points. And as I said, it is a short humorous essay. It reveals the factual points, the author's personal opinions, and his sense of humor on the preparation of tea. This can be clearly understood from his own words, saying that, see here, I find no fewer than 11 outstanding points. Or perhaps two of them there would be pretty general agreement, but at least 4 others are acutely controversial. Controversial means disputable. Controversial. Disputable. Here are my own 11 rules, every one of which I regard as golden. When I look through my own recipe for the perfect cup of tea, I find no fewer than 11 outstanding points. He just wanted to say that he has just made 11 outstanding points on preparation of tea. And perhaps 2 of them there would be pretty general agreement, but at least 4 others are acutely controversial, disputable. He says that there will be disputes. Here are my own 11 rules, every one of which I regard as golden. He regards his rules on preparation of tea, and he regards every one of his rules as golden rule. on preparation of tea. Let us learn what are those 11 golden rules in the next class.